Alright, so as we continue to look at solving quadratic inequalities, we have another one here. 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 is less than or equal to 5. So of course the first thing that we want to do is find the critical values. But before we can do so, we need the quadratic expression to be less than or equal to 0. So we subtract 5 from both sides. Our group is 5 here, it's minus 5. Alright. So we end up with 3x squared plus 4x, and then 1 minus 5, that's minus 4. And now we can solve this. In other words, we want the value of x that makes the expression 0. So we can use factorization or we can use the quadratic formula. So we want to rewrite the positive 4. But whichever two numbers we use, they must multiply to give AC. AC in this case is minus 12. 3 times minus 4. So we can rewrite the 4x as 6x minus 2x. Since 6 times minus 2 give us minus 12, right? And we factor by group. So the first group, we factor out 3x. In the bracket, we have x plus 2. The second group, we factor out minus 2. So in the bracket, we have x plus 2. So the common factor here is x plus 2. And then we have 3x minus 2. In the bracket. And if you equate both brackets and solve, for this one, you'll get x equal minus 2. If you equate both brackets to 0 and solve. Well, let's write down the critical values. So the critical values are the solution when you equate these to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0, and x equal to minus 2. That's a critical value. Let me just. And if you equate 3x minus 2 to 0, I'll do it there. If you equate 3x minus 2 to 0, then you'll have 3x equal to 2. Divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 3, sorry. Then x equal to 2/3. So the critical values are minus 2 and 2/3. Good. So once we have our critical values now, then we can just simply write the solution set. So the solution set is, now because it's less than 0, alright, it's between the two critical values. So it's x is less than 2/3, 2/3, and well, less than or equal to. So we follow this sign, right? And greater than or equal to minus 2. And again, I ask a question, what if this was a problem that you were given? Greater than. What if that was a problem? Again, the same, we'll end up with the same critical values. So the solution set, if we are greater than or equal to, x is greater than the larger critical value, which is greater than or equal to, which is 2/3. And x is less than or equal to the smaller critical value, which is minus 2. And of course, you can always test your solution. Let us look at another one. 2x squared plus 7x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. So again, we want to find a critical value, and we can do so by factorization. So we need to rewrite the 7x. So we ask ourselves which two numbers add to give 7 and multiply to give minus 8, which is what AC is. And that's what? That's positive 8x minus x, or minus 1x, right? Minus x minus 1x. Same thing. So we can factor by groups. So the first group here, we factor out 2x. So you're left with x plus 4. The second group, we factor minus 1. And we have the same x plus 4. So the common factor here is x plus 4. And outside here, what we have now, 2x minus 1. So the critical values are whatever value of x makes the expression 0. So we equate both brackets to 0. So equate x plus 4 to 0 and solve. You get x equal, if you equate x plus 4 to 0 and solve, you get x equal negative 4. So negative 4 is a critical value. And if you equate 2x minus 1 to 0 and solve, you get x equal to half, or 0.5. So the critical values are negative 4 and 0.5, or half. And then we can easily write our solution set. Once we have our critical values, solution set. Now, since it's greater than, then x is greater than the larger value, which is 0.5 or half. And x is less than, well, or equal to the smaller value, which is minus 4. And that would be your solution set for this question. And again, let me just ask, what if this was a question that you were given? 2x squared plus 7x minus 4 is less than or equal to 0. And when it's less than, x would fall between the two critical values, which would be half or 0.5. So it'll be less than half or 0.5 and greater than minus 4. Alright, and you can always test your solution. Alright, so if we're saying if x is any value between negative 4.5, the value would be equal to or less than 0. And you can try values between 0 and a half. Alright, you'll get something that's either equal to 0 or less than 0. And anything that's more than a half, you'll get something that's greater than 0. And anything is less than negative 4, you also get a value that's greater than 0. And you can always try it just to test your solution to see if it makes sense. And that's it. In the next video, we want to look at solving these quadratic inequalities, the graphical method.